Thank you about the honesty and refraining from being honest seasons. So we're talking about your amazing girls, right? So again, we're still on communication. And I think Shola had alluded to this a little bit because the question is, how has parenting them impacted your communication, right? Because, people have different, should I say, views, ideologies, styles of parenting. And sometimes that can rub, the other person the other way. So do you have any agreements, right, that if one person is handling something, you won't butt in? How has parenting them impacted communication between two of you?
Against the enemy. No, they're not the enemy. But I think that we're fortunate enough because we have a lot of similar worldviews in a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So people like to use the phrase like opposites attract, but I think opposites attract in things like, personality quirks, but not like one person, for example, one person believes in being heavy-handed and corporal punishment, and the other person believes in, zero corporal punishment. I'm just giving an example. Mm-hmm. So our parenting styles, I would really say that fortunately, are essentially the same. We have the same beliefs on how they should be raised, how we want to raise them, and knowing the fundamentals plays into everything. Like I remember once we were talking about, raising children. So one of the things we want to do with your kids is to teach them to aspire. Mm-hmm. So imagine that's like something very fundamental. So when you have those kind of fundamental beliefs, the rest builds itself up. So, and then, some of it is like, style over maybe a little thing here, a little thing there. I always say that I used to be the strict parent. Now he is the strict parent. I'm like, how did that happen? Because I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. It's like
exactly us.
It's like I used to be like really, really strict. Like, no. I mean, when my children were 3 years old, I banned them from asking, are we there yet? Can you imagine? I banned them. I think, never you ask me that question in the car again. I will drop you off at the side of the road and you will walk. Let me tell you something. When we get there, I will stop the car and I will say, we're here. I think these children, I remember once we had another little child in the car and this child said, are we there yet? Do you know, my children shook at that. Mommy doesn't do that. And they were like, I mean, my older one was probably like 5 or something. The way they shushed this child, like, don't you even, because I guess based on the walking wherever. So, I mean, imagine being that strict with a 2-3 year old to the point where the first time they said that, I was like, never again. I was like, look, we'll be doing this all the way to where we're going. Oh, no. So, I feel like we switch roles, it works. But we have similar parenting stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And we have similar worldviews in the way we want our children to grow up. We want them to be godly. We want them to be successful. We want them to be educated. We want them to be spiritual. We want them to be learned, well-rounded, well-read. So all those things just play into everything that we do.
The other doctor.
I mean, yeah, I think it's about the same thing. I think that early on, we kind of, we never really got into the children in between us, that kind of stuff. And we kind of had a united front against them. Right?
Mm-hmm. Against them.
But where we never really got into that whole thing of, child pitting one against the other. And I'll go ask mom. My mom doesn't say no, so I'll come and ask dad and say that dad told mom, and all that. If you hear that the other person said no, it's no, sorry.
That's it. Yep.
No, So yeah. I think, after a while they figured out that, one no is two.
No tricks. No tricks.
They couldn't really play us again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I had the conversations that you had about these values, were they kind of structured? Were they intentional? As in, we're going to write out our values, or were they kind of organic, as in, but everybody remembered, and I mean, how, I'm just interested for like younger couples or couples that don't have this, how would you go about structuring these type of conversations? I'm assuming it's better to have it before the kids get here, but if they're already here and you don't have it, is it too late to start how do you do those conversations?
So I think that we human beings, we like to deceive ourselves. When you meet somebody and you have just regular conversations with them, you have to pick things.
Yeah. You can pick
And put 2 and 2 together to make 4. Somebody tells you, okay, for example, let's say somebody says to you this. You're dating the person, and the person says, every night my father used to spank me with a wire hanger, and that's why I am who I am today. So, clue. What happens is that when people are single or dating, or before they have the thing, or the child has the thing, before the event, whether the child, whether whatever it is, before it occurs, people like to pretend that there were no clues, but they were always clues. There were clues. There were clues. There were clues. Somebody says, "Oh, by the time I was 10, my mother never spanked me again." It's not likely that that person would spank a 10-year-old. So I would say to a couple, please structure the conversation and ask questions, right? But think back to the conversations you've already had. These clues were there all along.
Yeah, I think in our own case, it probably was more organic.
Yes.
But that doesn't take away the place of being intentional. And
Yeah.
I think that, as you go along, there's great value to being intentional. Like looking at your children and saying, okay, this is, or you see this attitude and you're like, don't really want that. How can we change that? Okay. Some of the things I had to deal with, recently when it comes to bringing up the kids is the tendency to just always point out where they're doing wrong or what you don't do, right? Or in the attempt to be a fit man, not to be able to allow them to have negative emotions.
Wow.
Like, oh, I'm anxious. I'm anxious about nothing to be anxious about, or like I'm sad. I'm feeling you have it good in your life. When I was a child, I didn't have light, and or you want to teach them to speak in faith, right? And say, don't say that, right? You don't get as much with telling people not to do all the time as trying to understand, okay, what is it? And, I understand. Maybe there's a different way to look at it, right? So at a certain age, I mean, definitely younger children, you just need to tell them what to do, right? At a certain age, you need to start having conversations, and one of the things that I was guilty of is just kind of poo-pooing, no, you can't do that, or kind of like invalidating, their feelings, right? Because now that, I mean, what are you anxious about? Life is good. But, if they're feeling anxious or if they're feeling sad or if they feel like they're overwhelmed because, they told them to wash the plates and do your homework, it's like, the world is collapsing on me, and you just feel like, man, when I was your age, I was cutting food for the goats and running out doing this and jumping on Molue and all this, all within 1 hour, and before long, you start sounding like your parents when I was a child, and all that. So, communicating, being empathetic and just being someone that they can talk to is more important than having them do the right thing all the time. Right? Yeah. Because if they can talk to you, then they'll tell you when they want to do the wrong thing.
Yep.
As opposed to like, my daughter said something once, passing, and she was talking about it, like, she said, I wish I could express negative emotions to my parents. And I was like, wow, right. And, you know, you kind of have to talk and be like, look, I don't expect you to be perfect. I don't think you're going to be perfect and all that. And even as a parent, you know, I make mistakes, I'm learning, and I'm probably going to do some things that are not wrong, but I'm learning. Just way that you learn. But I don't expect you to be perfect. But whatever it is, even if you mess up, right, I'm there 100% for you, you know. And so sometimes I come in and they're doing something. I want to be like, why are you doing that? You know, why are you doing that? Can't you read a book or something? You know, and I have to hold myself and like, you know, I don't want to be every time I come in, you start pretending to read a book or you start pretending to do something like we used to do, right? You're like, that is back. You put up the TV, you know, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that they can just be themselves. And be comfortable enough so that when you do come with correction, it can be received.
That's good.
Okay, I've talked.
Well, thanks for that. We're going to jump to the last question we have time for. And it's, what is your vision of your relationship in the very present future? When your
brood leaves the nest. The empty nesters. That time is coming. No, don't even think that is far.
Oh my God. I'm not even thinking about
You're not thinking about it. I know, right?
Oh, it feels like, you're in this space where you're like,
the mundane.
Kids, you know, work with kids, and you know, the business is running it. You know, I'm taking care of my elderly mother and all of that. That doesn't mean, okay, we have vision for the future, of course, but you know, I really have a very strong desire once my children leave to travel the world. Like once you guys go off to college, I keep telling them, look, once you guys go off to college, your father and I are going to move to a penthouse. We will change the address. We will not let you know where we are. We will be getting postcards from different parts of the world. Mama is gone.
Let's hear from Papa. No, Papa, what's your own vision?
Exactly.
No. I would like to travel. There are just many things. I would like to travel. I'd like to travel to upscale places.
Yeah.
I know earlier on one of the things I really wanted to do was what do you call it? Medicine Sans Frontiers.
Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pipe dream now.
Pipe dreams can still come true. Don't worry. But okay. Medicine Sans Frontiers. Are you people hearing Dr. Ezokoli? Okay.
I don't think they take married people.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'd like to experience life outside the normal, right? I mean, I'm not like I'm going to be on a cruise and be traveling everywhere. I think I do like to have a home and live in, but definitely more travel and more do more things, right? Also plan to be financially independent. You know.
Yeah, that's the reason for that.
That too. That too. Yeah.
Because,
okay.
Seeing the world and coming to work extra shift to make it.
No, those two things don't align at all. Like, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so definitely more travel.
Ooh, travel is good. Travel is one of our like family values.
Where's the gray couch going?
That's a good. Our dreams
around the world,
and our hope is that as many married couples are having challenges, they will hear something that blesses them, and marriages can be better. Because I mean, we've talked about this in the past. I don't want to repeat the cliche and I say marriages are under attack, but they really are. It's more like families are under attack. And so if you can break up that unit, it spreads. So what we see for this is going far and wide and into the rooms of couples that are in their teen years,
teenage marriage.
You know.
Yeah, but I think you pointed out something which for me at least, because part of my work is cross-cultural research, and you pointed out something when you said this is not the culture that I grew up in. And so for me, it's kind of, you are sitting here and you're trying to show people a different way of being, right? A different way of saying, it doesn't have to be the way that I knew it in the past. I can create new visions of a new future, of a new dynamic, whatever it is that I want to do in this new social unit. So that's very important to me, because I feel like as Nigerian Americans, we're already bicultural, right? You're trying to combine the culture from Nigeria, which is really strong, right? And then you're trying to combine the one here. Now, there are good sides to both.
Sure.
And there are also the sides that are like, hell no. and so, well, even though that part is personal, like some people may not see anything wrong with it, but it's kind of the idea that you can create your own, your own culture. Frame. Yes, your own culture, your own frame. I think that's one of the biggest things for us on the couch, which if, anybody probably listening, one of my friends said, don't turn this into a church, but it's a ministry, right? It's just saying this is different. It's not it's a movement, right? It's not the, come like sit down and teaching, but it's like in these conversations, right? Which is what you were saying, Dozie, earlier, that you can, Shala, you can pick things, right? You are going to pick something and you'll say, oh, okay, wow, that was me. This is me now, like things like that. So for us, it's a question of knowing that really, just like our shirts are saying, right? Like it's not always black or white. It's not always, there's always like nuances. I think that, the nuance part, and that nuance can be very subtle. So you just have to say, what am I seeing here? What am I reading? What do I want to see? Right. So for us, that's really, at least for me, right? That's one of the visions that I have for this place, that it's a place where people can come and be comfortable to talk about the things we're talking about, right? In terms of raising your children. I mean, we were joking earlier on, but yeah, even in terms of, the coupling, right? That kind of thing, you break down barriers and just say, hey, life can be fun. Yeah.
So in a word, I mean, growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yeah.
As individuals,
Mm-hmm.
as couples,
Mm-hmm.
growth,
Yeah.
Growth is tough. It's difficult. I mean, what's that thing? The butterfly and the moth, shedding of the old.
Yeah.
It's difficult, it's challenging, but I mean, it's always worth it in the end. It just doesn't seem that way at the time. And so I guess the difficulty is that some people are like, rather than putting that effort, like, I'm just not going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the light would like to shine is that if we can do it, you guys can do it also. As an people can do it, it's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And give it a shot. Try. And then try again. And then try again.
Until you get it.
Until you get it.
Okay. Any other question? That was from Desi. Shall I have one for us?
No.
Okay.
So where can people find you? You have 6 books out there. You have a coaching ministry. There's a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people reach out to? Email, website?
Actually, we run a marriage ministry as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the wellfoundation.org.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have we pick on couples that need help, and we counsel them through all the stages, from singlehood through marriage through parenting. And these are specific couples that they have our phone number. They can call us anytime, like, hey, I need to talk to you, and we will like set up a Zoom meeting like this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes me and him will be in different parts of the house, and we do that. So if you go to the onefoundation.org, our books are there, available to order. We've written 2 books. One is called Staying Married, 7 Key Strategies That You Should Know. I don't know. Some of our books have long titles and we can't remember them. Our second book is called The Balanced Marriage, which was written in 2018, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the joint books we've written together. I've written other books and I have one coming out. But the onefoundation.org is a place where our marriage work is housed.
Mhm.
Well, thanks so much for being our first premier guest on the
Very
couch.
First. It was only fitting.
Raise the
Right?
bar.
We might be calling on you back to expatiate on one or two more things.
Mhm.
But
Specific. Now it will be us asking the question specifically, because we have 4 C's, right? I feel like if we would just jump from the first to the last, you left those 2 middle ones. You left those 2 middle ones. In case you don't know what those 2 middle C's are, let me tell you, it's coins and conversation. Coupling, right? Coupling. That's the one that always brings people over. But on this great couch, conversation is first, because conversation, if you do it well, it will lead to good coupling. It's not the other way around.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, thank you so much, both of you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
We'll see you again. We will, because that's what friends do.